Morphophonemics. It sounds like a big word, right? But it's really just a cool way of looking at how sounds and meanings work together in words. It's like exploring how the smallest parts of words connect to the sounds they make, and how those sounds change depending on how we use the words. Think of language like a big woven tapestry of sounds and meanings. We're going to explore modern Hebrew and see how its words are formed. Words have two main parts, sounds and meanings. Morphophonemics looks at how these two parts work together. Think about how we make plurals in English. We add an S to cat to make cats. That S in cats is a soft S sound, but in dogs the S sounds like a Z. That change in sound is a morphophonemic rule. These rules control how sounds change when we put words and parts of words together. Modern Hebrew is a language brought back to life from a very old language. It's a great language to explore morphophonemics. Because it's old and new, the way sounds and meanings connect is special. The way a word sounds can change depending on what it means in a sentence or the sounds around it. We'll see vowels change, consonants change, and even changes in which part the word is loudest. Each of these shows us how language works behind the scenes. Morphophonemics. It's how we study the connection between the sounds of a language and its grammar rules. Imagine language is a big orchestra, with every instrument playing its part. Morphophonemics is like the conductor, making sure all the sounds work together to make the right meaning. By studying these rules, we learn more about how language works and how it changes over time. Section 2. Sound and Meaning, a Delicate Dance. Morphophonemics is all about the dance between sound and meaning. Words aren't just stuck with one sound. Their sounds can change depending on their job in a sentence, the sounds around them, and how the language used to be spoken. Think about plurals again. We add S to make a word plural, like cat becoming cats. In cats it's a soft S, but in dogs it's a Z sound. These changes show that language is always changing and growing. Section 3. Unveiling the rules, how context shapes pronunciation. Morphophonemic rules are controlled by things like nearby sounds, grammar, and how the language has changed over time. These rules can include assimilation, sounds becoming more like the sounds next to them; dissimilation, sounds becoming less similar so they don't sound the same; vowel harmony, vowels in a word sounding more alike; deletion, sounds getting dropped in certain spots. These rules work together to keep language sounding right. By understanding these rules, we learn more about how human language works. Section 4. Morphophonemics in action, examples from the field. In English we add ed to make the past tense, but the sound changes. We say walked with a T sound, called with a D sound, and waited with an ed sound. In Spanish the verb pensar, to think, changes its vowel depending on the tense. In the present tense it's pienso, I think, where the E changes to IE. These examples show how morphophonemics works in different languages. Section 5. The significance of sound shifts, understanding language evolution. Morphophonemics shows us how pronunciation has changed and gives us clues about how languages are related. The great vowel shift in English is a good example. By looking at these sound shifts, language experts can figure out what older languages sounded like and see how languages are connected. Morphophonemics helps us understand the mysteries of a language's past and how it changes. Section 1. Modern Hebrew, a tapestry of sound and grammar. Modern Hebrew, a language brought back to life, is great for exploring how sound and meaning work together. This special language journey has made morphophonemics very important in Hebrew. how a word sounds can change based on its grammar and the sounds around it. By understanding these connections, we can see how beautiful and complex Hebrew is. Section 2, the dance of vowels, unveiling the secrets of Hebrew morphology. Modern Hebrew changes vowels to show changes in tense, gender, number, and how words relate to each other. Take the verb lamad, to learn. It changes its vowels. Lamati, I learned. Loma, I learned. And elmad, I will learn. These changes follow rules, making it predictable. This connection between vowels and grammar is a big part of Hebrew's history. By learning these vowel changes, people can speak Hebrew fluently. Section 3, consonant shifts and transformations. Echoes of a linguistic past. Hebrew consonants have changed over time, leaving clues about their history. One example is the begadkafat consonants, which can change how they sound. Another is assimilation, where a consonant sounds more like the consonant next to it. These changes show how language is always changing. Understanding these changes helps us understand Hebrew's history. Section 4, the rhythm of language stress and its role in Hebrew morphophonemics. In Hebrew, where the stress falls is important for how a word sounds and what it means. Stress usually falls on the last or second to last syllable, but this can change depending on things like suffixes and grammar. For example, possessive suffixes can change the stress, like bayit, house, becoming beiti, my house. By learning these patterns, people can speak Hebrew with a natural rhythm. Section 5, a glimpse into linguistic history. Morphophonemics as a time machine. Morphophonemics isn't just about sound changes. It's a way to look into the history of a language. By examining how sounds in a language have evolved over time, we can uncover layers of historical and cultural shifts that have influenced the language. This field of study allows linguists to trace back the roots of words and sounds, offering a unique perspective on how languages develop and transform. It shows us how it changed, how it's related to other languages, and the cultural things that shaped it. By analyzing morphophonemic patterns, we can see the connections between different languages and how they have influenced each other over centuries. This interconnectedness reveals not just linguistic evolution, but also migration patterns, trade routes, and cultural exchanges that have left their mark on the language. With modern Hebrew, we can see how it went from its ancient form to how it is today. The journey of Hebrew is a fascinating example of how a language can undergo significant transformations while retaining its core identity. From ancient inscriptions to contemporary usage, Hebrew's evolution tells a story of resilience and adaptation. For example, some vowel patterns in modern Hebrew come from biblical Hebrew, showing how the language has continued. These patterns are like linguistic fossils, preserving the sounds of the past within the modern language. They provide clues about how ancient speakers pronounced words and how those pronunciations have shifted over time. Also, the begadkafat consonants, which are in other similar languages, changed in a special way in Hebrew, showing its unique history. These consonants underwent specific phonetic changes that set Hebrew apart from its linguistic relatives, highlighting the distinct path it has taken through history. By studying these things, language experts can figure out what older forms of Hebrew sounded like, understand how language changes over time, and appreciate how this amazing language was shaped. This deep dive into the phonetic and morphophonemic aspects of Hebrew opens a window into the past, allowing us to hear echoes of ancient voices and understand the dynamic nature of language. Morphophonemics is like a tool for digging up language history, letting us find hidden history in the sound of language. It's a powerful method that helps us piece together the puzzle of how languages have evolved, adapted, and survived through the ages. By examining the minute details of sound changes, we can uncover the broader story of human communication and cultural development. Section 1. Hebrew in action, where words shapeshift. It's amazing to see how sound and meaning work together in language. Modern Hebrew, with its many morphophonemic processes, is a great example. When people speak Hebrew, we see these rules come to life, making words change their sounds depending on their grammar. Imagine asking a question in Hebrew. The way your voice goes up at the end shows it's a question without changing any words. But Hebrew morphophonemics goes deeper, changing the sounds inside the words. Vowels change, showing tense, gender, and number. Consonants change too, depending on the sounds around them. This section shows examples of how Hebrew words change their sounds depending on their role in a sentence. Section 2, a verb's journey, exploring tense through sound. Let's look at verbs and how they evolve through different tenses in the Hebrew language. This journey will help us understand the intricate relationship between sound and meaning in verbs. In Hebrew, verbs are more than just action words. They change their form to show who's doing the action and when it happens. This transformation is not just a grammatical necessity, but a window into the culture and thought processes of Hebrew speakers. Take the verb lamed, meaning to learn. This verb, in its basic form, represents the concept of learning without any specific time frame attached to it. In its basic form, lamed is just the idea of learning, however. When we start to apply tenses, the verb begins to morph, giving us more information about the action. But watch how it changes in the past tense. Lamati, I learned. This form tells us that the action of learning has already been completed. The A changes to E and the D softens to a T. These subtle shifts in sound are crucial for conveying the correct tense and meaning. The present tense, loma, I learn, has an O sound, showing that the action is happening now. This form is used to describe ongoing actions or general truths. In the future, it's elmad, I will learn. This form indicates that the action of learning is something that will happen later. The L gets a vowel and the stress moves forward. These changes are not arbitrary. They follow specific phonetic rules that are consistent across the language. These vowel and consonant changes aren't random, they follow patterns. Understanding these patterns can make learning Hebrew verbs much easier and more intuitive. By understanding these patterns, speakers can talk about the past, present, and future with clarity and precision. This not only enriches their language skills, but also deepens their connection to the culture and history embedded in the Hebrew language. Section 3, the possessive puzzle, how suffixes reshape words. Possession, the idea of owning something, is another place where Hebrew morphophonemics is interesting. English uses separate words like my, your, and his. But Hebrew adds these directly onto the word. These additions, called suffixes, can change the word's vowels and stress. Take bayit, meaning house, add I, meaning my, and it becomes beiti, my house. The A changes to E and the stress moves. Sefer, book, becomes sifro, his book. The E becomes O and the stress moves. These changes are small but important. The wrong stress or vowel can change the meaning. This shows how clever and efficient Hebrew morphophonemics is. Section 4, building with prefixes. When my morphs into min. Prefixes, added to the beginning of words, show us more about Hebrew morphophonemics. Some prefixes always sound the same, but others, like my, meaning from, change their sound depending on the sounds around them. Me'yish is clear on its own. With the definite article ha, it's mi habayit, from the house. The I stays the same, but with kofar, village, it becomes min hakfar, from the village. The I changes to an N to sound better with the K. This small change shows how sounds shape language. It shows how we naturally change sounds to make speech smoother. Section 5, Echoes of the Past, unpacking Begadkafat consonants. Now we'll look at a special group of consonants called Begadkafat. These 6 letters have a secret, a connection to old pronunciation rules that still affect modern Hebrew. These letters can sound 2 different ways depending on a small dot called a dagesh. Without the dot, the letters sound softer. The B in bet, house, sounds almost like a V, gimel. Camel sounds like a soft G. But with the dot, the letters sound stronger. This two-way pronunciation from older languages makes Hebrew more complex. But for people who speak Hebrew well, it's natural, making their speech musical. Begad-kefat consonants show the history of Hebrew, reminding us that language is always changing. Section 1. Unveiling the tapestry. Morphophonemics and the beauty of Hebrew. We've explored morphophonemics in modern Hebrew, and we've seen how complex and beautiful it is. This topic, which might have seemed boring, has shown us how sound and meaning work together in language. We've seen the small changes in Hebrew words, how vowels and consonants change depending on grammar, nearby sounds and history. We've seen how verbs change to show time, how suffixes show possession, and how prefixes connect to words. Each example has shown us how cleverly Hebrew uses sound to make meaning. But more than that, we've seen the beauty of this. The vowel changes in verbs, the rhythm of stressed and unstressed syllables, the soft sounds of begad-kefat consonants. These make Hebrew sound musical and interesting. As Section 2, Beyond the Sounds, the wider significance of morphophonemic inquiry. Learning about morphophonemics in Hebrew helps us understand all languages. By looking at the sounds of one language, we learn about rules that control all languages. We see that language isn't fixed. It's always changing based on how sound and meaning work together. Morphophonemics helps us study these changes. By looking at sound changes over time, we can figure out what older languages sounded like. By comparing patterns across languages, we can see how they are related and how they became different. Also, morphophonemics shows how our brains learn complex language rules without us even realizing it. The way Hebrew speakers use vowels, consonants, and stress shows how good our brains are at language. Section 3, A Language Reborn, A Journey Continues. Modern Hebrew in the linguistic landscape. Modern Hebrew shows how dynamic language is. It is a living testament to the resilience and adaptability of human communication. From the bustling streets of Tel Aviv to the quiet classrooms where children learn their first words, Hebrew is everywhere, evolving and thriving. Brought back to life after a long time, it's changed to fit the modern world while keeping its history. Ancient texts and modern textbooks sit side by side, bridging millennia of linguistic evolution. This revival is not just about words, it's about culture, identity, and continuity. Morphophonemics has been important in this, giving the tools to shape a language that is both traditional and modern. Linguists and educators work tirelessly to ensure that the language remains relevant, yet true to its roots. They delve into the intricacies of sounds and structures, crafting a linguistic framework that honors the past while embracing the future. As modern Hebrew continues to change, so will its sounds and meanings. Conversations between generations reveal a language that is constantly in flux, adapting to new realities and technologies. The words spoken by the youth today may differ from those of their grandparents, yet they are all threads in the same rich tapestry. New words will appear, borrowed from other languages or created for new ideas. The digital age brings with it a flood of new concepts and terms, and Hebrew is no exception. Dictionaries expand, and language apps become essential tools for both learners and native speakers, reflecting the ever-growing lexicon. Pronunciation will change a little. Subtle shifts in how words are spoken can signify broader cultural changes. Pronunciation guides help maintain clarity and consistency, ensuring that even as the language evolves, it remains accessible and understandable. But the basic rules of morphophonemics will stay, making sure Hebrew stays beautiful and precise. Scholars and linguists continue to study and refine these rules, preserving the elegance and precision that define Hebrew. Calligraphy and text analysis reveal the depth and beauty of the language, connecting the written word to its spoken form. But the journey of exploring morphophonemics isn't over. Each discovery opens new avenues of understanding, and the work of linguists is never truly complete. They analyze data, create charts, and develop new teaching methods, all in the pursuit of a deeper comprehension of the language. Every language with its own sounds and grammar, is a new puzzle to solve, a new tapestry to admire. The study of Hebrew is part of a larger quest to understand human language as a whole. Each language offers unique insights and challenges, contributing to a global mosaic of linguistic diversity. As we keep learning about languages, we learn more about language itself and how humans are creative, communicate, and connect across cultures and time. The journey of language learning is a journey of human connection, revealing the ways in which we share our thoughts, our stories, and our lives with one another.